Simpsons arcade game. Closest I got was the final boss. Since I was missing the last 25 cents I needed, I'm donating $25. And thank you, Captain Rakowski, for that donation. Of course, all of your donations for Summer Games Done Quick 2020 Online, they are all going to Doctors Without Borders. And if you need a little background on them, Doctors Without Borders, or MSF, is an international medical humanitarian aid organization that works in over 70 countries around the world, providing life-saving medical humanitarian care and speaking out about what they see in those areas. Their work aids people based solely on need, irrespective of race, religion, gender, or political affiliation. MSF is committed to safeguarding their patients' rights to autonomy, confidentiality, and informed consent. 90% of their staff is national, meaning they live locally and are from the country that they work in. MSF relies mainly on the generosity of individual donors, with over 90% of MSF's income coming from private donors giving small amounts. So again, every little bit that you can donate is really big help. And you can also win some fantastic prizes. You can sway some bid wars. You can get some extra incentives met if you'd like more of the speedrunning that you've come to love from SGDQ, of course. Okay, we have $50 from Gigasturts, who says, LRock, you gotta let them know they don't want these steamed hams. Good luck with the run. Hype for more games on the porch in the future. And with that, I do believe we are ready to send it over to LRock, who's going to be running some Simpsons arcade game. Go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you so much. There we go. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to Summer Games 2020. Hope you all been having an amazing week here for these awesome runs, and I hope to be able to bring another one here for you today. My name is LRock617, GDQ veteran. With me today on my couch is the awesome darkalexandr, my co-op partner for this game.
Howdy, friends.
And it looks like, per the 2 donation incentives I had, which first and foremost, thank you everyone who contributed to this, reaching the incentive to upgrade it to expert difficulty. It's going to be a lot more interesting than if I had to run normal. And for our character choice, it looks like nothing changed in the past 10 minutes, so it looks like we will be taking on our dental plan and playing as Lisa. Again, thank you to everyone who contributed. Homer was clawing up a little bit there, but he didn't even make it in. I know he said he was my favorite for being able to play it in a marathon because he's great and he has memes and all that good jazz, but Lisa's great too. And plus, Puzzle P had the awesome artwork contributed and 2 dental plan. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set it to expert for the Japanese ROM version, which is the only version that I speedrun. We're going to start in the stage 1 downtown. I'm going to set it over to Lisa. Time's going to start as soon as I pick character. So, timer ready? All right, it's going to be 3, 2, 1, go. And off to the races. So for those who haven't seen this game, the plot is pretty silly, as you would expect for Simpsons, although I think this is even a little silly by those standards. Maggie gets kidnapped by Smithers and taken back to Mr. Burns because she happened to have a diamond, not a dime, catch into her mouth. Why they couldn't just give it back, we don't know, but that doesn't matter because we can't embark on an adventure without that. So I'm gonna kill all these guys. This game has been run in the GDQ in the past, particularly AGDQ 2016 by Makina Azul, who unfortunately was originally supposed to be in my couch today and could not make it, but he had a great run with Marge that year. And for this time, we're going to be running it on a higher difficulty with some slightly more optimized strats. And hopefully, well, it won't be a faster time, it's on a higher difficulty, but to go into at least what's going on with Expert, Expert primarily just means more enemies. Like, that's really all that comes with the territory. Everything else about it is essentially going to be the same as normal, particularly in terms of the boss fights. The boss fights really just, they don't change at all. Like all the strats up there, take a hit, dude, really? Oh, okay, that's unfortunate. So you see here we got this broom out of the tree. These are going to be very important throughout the course of the run. These are what separate the JP version from the US version. You'll see here on this boss. We're only supposed to have a 3-cycle boss fight here. We got 5 hits there. Throw that. Hit him for the last one, and nice. That was actually perfect RNG because sometimes he can jump out of hit stun and cost you time, but that went exactly what it was supposed to. Here's a great quote from Lisa. Engage with Smithers. So we have first of two bonus stages here, and I actually have to give props to darkalexandr for something as soon as I'm finished, while I mash away on my Italki Korean stick. So
Mashy.
you see me get a 350. When you're mashing, a 350 time is actually pretty solid. If you're good at hovering, like darkalexandr is, or A Link to the Past speedrunners are, then you can get something in like the 5s or 6s, and it's really, really strong. I'm not so great at that, so I just mash away. I've tried it, haven't done it yet, maybe one day. So anyway, this is our second stage. Gonna order everybody a hot dog real quick. Oh, that guy didn't want one, that's unfortunate. Take that. Stage 2 is where the game becomes a little bit more fleshed out. We also have access to another sub-weapon similar to the broom. I'll talk a little bit more about why these are so good. Teacup part is really random. I don't particularly love this part because they can essentially spawn anywhere and cost you time. Like they can go, one can go to the far left, one can go to the far right like you saw there, and that's just a pure time drain. It's kind of garbage. So anyway, with the hammers in this version of the game and the brooms as well, you gain access to this move, which is essentially a dive kick that does the same amount of damage as a special, and it's why this version is the fastest to run. We're just gonna go to town on these dudes. The hitbox on the dive is a little bit awkward, but even if we miss, we can try again. They can hit you out of it because it's not pure iframes, but they're still pretty good. That was important. See what I mean? Like the little guys especially, their hitboxes are kind of wonky. Try to go for double kills as often as I can, but on expert, the enemies actually do have some really solid defense, so maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't.
Fortunately, you get great movement from having those sub-weapons too, so that really, really helps.
Hat guys are the bane of my existence in this game as well. They have, I don't know what it is, but it almost feels like they have like shrunken hitboxes when they're throwing their hats, and I don't know why, but it does make them harder to hit. They also have like 3 different attacks that are all very good. So it didn't cost time to get that food there. We're gonna fight the Krusty Balloon. Very easy fight here, one of the easiest in the game. Although we did get bad RNG there. After a cycle of 3 hits, he can choose to go to the back like that and just drop cherry bombs on you, and it's just a pure time drain. Like, there's just nothing you can do if he decides to do that. Weird little arcade game tick.
One of the big points for having the sub-weapons really, really helps too, is that fight without the hammer is a real drag.
Yeah, you have to go to do specials, and you only get 1-hit cycles, and those cycles take forever. But it's what it is. Thank goodness for hammer. So anyway, this is stage 3. To me, this is the first gatekeeper in the run. It's one of the hardest stages on expert because there's a lot of enemies that can all do really stupid things to you, and you don't really have a lot of room to move around, so everything just feels like constant panic mode. I'm going to be doing my best to maintain the spacing. I dropped an input there and there too. Oh, weird. Okay, I gotta space here a little bit. This is going to cost me some time, but I'd rather be safe. As always with just about any arcade game I play, a 1 credit clear is the goal. One thing to note about expert for the digital download version that I'm playing is that it has a 3 life credit, but the arcade standard is 2 life credit, and that's what I adhere to. All right, this is getting a little scary. It may look like I'm okay being at half health, but there's not a healing item for another couple sections, and this section with the umbrella guys is really challenging. Like, I have to space out my hits perfectly and hope they don't, like, perfectly whip punch me, and they don't drop inputs like I did there because I was trying to hit that guy out of the fall. Okay, we got corn. We're a little better now. These guys just have really good movesets. The umbrella guys have this overhead that acts as really good anti-air. They have a straight where they pop the umbrella open that has a really crazy hitbox. And the green guys that don't have the umbrella actually have a slide, and that's also really strong. So for this stage, this is one of only 2 stages in the game outside of the final stage where we don't get access to a melee sub-weapon, and we have to settle for the slingshot, which the slingshot is very good, especially in JP because it kills zombies in 1 hit, where I think in US version it takes 3. We kind of just get to trounce through this, and there's only a little bit of RNG in these zombies. I'm hoping to get some pretty good luck here. Do the Zerst kill with the double. I'm going to take this food just for safety. That slingshot toss was actually something that was discovered by Zerst, 1-time world record holder of this game, and amazing contributor to this game in the long run. We wouldn't have gotten this game to where it is without him and without Makina, so big props to both of them. So on an auto-scroller here, we're going to just be doing a time scan where we waste time with enemies, so if we've got time for some donations, go right for it.
Absolutely. We have quite a bit of love coming in for you, LRock.
Like it.
We have $50 from Mad Mega, who says, "Good luck, LRock. I can't even remember how many quarters I spent on this game as a kid, and you make it look so easy. Go fast and save Maggie.
Thank you, Mr. Mega. Got time for like one more, because the boss fight's coming up, and that one I had to explain.
All right, Homer
Really quick
Simpson.
one.
Homer Simpson himself donates $50 and says, just once I'd like someone to call me sir without adding, you're making a scene.
It'll take it some time to set up this visual cue. Thank you so much, Homer. Okay, this fight's tough. There is a quick kill associated with it, and I really hope I can get it, so let's go for it. Flawless. Okay, cool.
Giddy up, jerks.
That was another one that was discovered by Zurst, and that used to be one of the hardest boss fights in the game before that was discovered, but the fight is pure execution from that point, and it did take practice to learn it, but once you got it, it's the best thing you can do there. On Expert, I do add an additional buffer where for the second hit, I just do a grounded hit like so, instead of the special. But that's just for timing reasons. When I was doing 2 specials in a row instead, I would consistently have this thing where the bigger guy would like not get hit for the 3rd hit, so I just did that to adjust timing. It may extend it by 1 hit, but I'd rather have the consistency. All right, so for stage 4, this stage we actually get to start off with this hammer, which is really nice. We're not going to keep it very long though, because I'd rather have the broom. Broom's a little bit better. Broom is slightly better than hammer because it has better grounded hits. That's not good.
Bats flying everywhere.
That guys are the worst, man. But for this stage, we're just gonna be seeing a lot of like just beat 'em up stuff, and it's gonna be diving on enemies and cleaning the streets. So let's go ahead and get another couple donations in.
Sure thing. Jadelyn sends in $50 and says, hey, LRock. Jadelyn and Aaron here. So hyped to watch you at SGDQ and wishing you the best for a killer run. Have fun, go fast, and good luck. It's game time in the 502.
Thank you. Shout out to the 502 crew. 502 is the little area code. Just curious. I think we got time for one more quick one before I get this boss.
Sure. Sandshark sends in $20 and says, the Simpsons arcade game at this time of year, at this time of the day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within GDQ?
Yes. But you can't see it. So this stage 4 boss, Makina's old strat still works, where you just do big hops into dives. Zurst optimized it with this short hop here, and I actually optimized it even further last week by going behind the guy and hitting him instead. It only takes 10 hits, and it's really, really simple, but the reason you go behind him is purely for manipulation purposes. When you're behind him, he's less incentivized to do wake-up hits, and those are really dangerous because if you mistime it and he gets to hit you, you lose not only a lot of time, but it also does a lot of damage. So not optimal. Once I discovered that, I just kept doing it and it keeps working. So good times there. Okay, rock please. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is the other gatekeeper of the game. Stage 5 is just disgusting. I don't really know how to explain it. It's a bunch of enemies that can do a bunch of really gross things, and I don't want anything to do with any of it. The biggest issue in this stage, for my experience, are these pink shirt guys that throw the bigger items like the tree trunks and the boulders. They're pretty awful because on like a lower difficulty, you only see 1, maybe 2 in a given segment. I did not want that to happen. But on Expert, you see 3, and the reason that matters is because if you only have to deal with 1, then that's actually fine because you don't even have to bait it for the most part. Okay, so that sucks I took that hit, but I get to kill 2 enemies out of it. Okay. Guys, really? So anyway, for those guys throwing that stuff, if you have 3 of them and you decide to kill one of them before they can throw it, then that just means one of them is going to hit you because that's just how they're lined up. So you have to apply safety. You just really don't have a choice. Don't get that spawned early that often. That was cute.
Skip the bees.
Very good, actually. Take this. Now for a bridge section, we got the slingshot. Slingshot's cute. It's really, really good here. Just gonna get us to tee off on some of these enemies on the bridge. All one-shots. That's gonna take us right into our end. I got time for one quick donation if you have one.
Sure. We got $100 from MC Aaron Ice, and they say, you need to beat him up. You need to beat him up, beaten up. LRock is the guy to call. Let's go, LRock. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you, Aaron. Got a quick despawn here. You don't see them, but there are 2 guys that are coming on the left side with boulders, but if you just keep walking to the boss with all the other enemies off the screen, then they just don't show up. So this broom was actually discovered by Makina, I think, not long after his AGDQ 2016 run, and this fight also used to be really hard prior to the broom, but the broom kind of turns into a joke. You used to have to do 3-hit combos to knock the bear down, and those weren't particularly safe. But now with the broom, it's just 2-hit cycles, and the only thing you have to worry about is boulder RNG. And of course, there's execution to it because you have to time your hits on the bear's wake up, and you don't want anything bad happening there. But it's still significantly less of a pain. Like, I can't remember the last time I died on that fight on a run, whereas I used to lose runs to it quite often. All right, we're out of the woods. Heading on to Dreamland. This stage is actually one of the reasons I enjoy playing Homer in this game, because someone once pointed out that this is essentially Homer's dreamscape and not anybody else's, and it kind of does make sense. Like, giant donuts attacking you, that quadruple kill is good timing, love it. This part's kind of annoying. The donuts, when they get loose, can be really unpredictable, especially when they do that ground roll. That was exactly what I was trying to avoid, and I got baited, so not great. Okay, so, whoa, did not want that. All right, I'm gonna get this just because I took that hit. All right, on to their saxophones. Probably the hardest enemies in this stage, though that is debatable. I feel like the power plant workers have scaled up in difficulty. That's not good either. This is why the saxophones are so garbage. If they hit you once, especially out of a special, they can just combo you, and it's really not good. Like, there was no way I could have gotten out of that. So these guys, I'm gonna probably play a little bit safe around, because there's just so many of them. These guys rank up quite a bit on expert, just because of strength in numbers. The last segment in particular is a real issue. These thrown items are going to come in real handy. All I care about hitting is those two, because these two die in one hit. There we go. I'm going to wait this out. This guy on the left is the big destroyer of worlds. I can't stand that guy. He ruins most of these. There's another Desserts discovery. This turned the hardest screen in this stage into a big joke. You used to have to fight all 5 of these bar doubles all at once. But with that nuke, when you throw it, it hits 4 of them and reduces them all to 1 HP. Super good. We're gonna steal this bowling ball. Here's our boss. Another Homer dreamscape. This giant bowling ball actually is a pretty execution-intensive fight. I'm trying to get it to where it can be down to a minimal number of cycles. Do this here. You want to do this on the second cycle so you can get the optimal number of hits there. And you get a one-jumper? Nah, I missed an input there. Ew, okay, I better dodge some hits. I don't have much health left. Okay, so not a great second cycle, not like I wanted it to be. Just don't want any missiles. Missiles are really, really bad for me here. Okay, now that we're out of the missiles, we should be okay for the rest. Quick tidbit, these hits I'm doing while he's standing still, they actually are not doing any damage. He has just pure invincibility there. He doesn't take damage until he starts moving.
Very nice.
The reason I do it is just to maintain rhythm, and it works for me, so that's why I keep doing it. So yeah, the last two, despite a pretty rough first phase and second phase, that ended up going pretty well through the end of it. I was really, really on board with not taking a death there, and I actually have taken some deaths and some runs of that, because some of his movement cycles can get really unpredictable, and you just don't want that. All right, so we got our last bonus game. I'm gonna go ahead and slap Lisa till she wakes up, because she's got to get to the dentist. Let's go ahead and get in a couple more donations if we could.
Sure. Red Comet donates $100 and says, "Thanks GDQ and LRock for such an entertaining run on such a classic arcade game. You are all great, both in front of and behind the camera. Keep it up."
Thank you, Red Comet. More 502. I think we have time for one more, because I kind of need to focus on these enemies. That was rude. All right. We got food coming up soon. Okay. Take a hit. Thank you.
Bobby Tastic donates $15.55 and says,
Fantastic, I love it.
"Good luck, LRock. You are crushing it on expert and representing the fellow Fight Stick fam. Much love from your brother, Bobby."
Thank you, Bobby. You're the best. Funny, I originally bought this stick to play Tekken with specifically, and I've played more of this game exactly than Tekken with it, and it's done the great things. It's my primary PS4 stick. Dude, this guy will not get hit. What is going on? So stage 7, without a sub-weapon, would definitely be one of the hardest stages in the game. It's kind of a disaster. There's just so many enemies all at once, but the game takes it easy on you by giving you a hammer right at the start of the stage. We also have access to a broom, which I really only prefer for co-op runs. What is going on here? Apologies for this. Sometimes the game is uncooperative because, kill this guy. Another change on expert. On any lower difficulty, there would only be one of these robots here. They're not too tough to take down. You just have to hit them with 3 hammer dives and just move on. There's also a despawn strat here I've been working with on the expert that exists on normal, and it's pretty simple, but I haven't gotten the rhythm down for it on expert yet, and I didn't get it. So if it worked, that guy who came up out of the door at the very top, he wouldn't have shown up. Dude. Another thing about hitboxes in this game, if an enemy is off screen, like you saw there, they have invincibility to dive only. Like, you can do ground hits, but the ground hit is kind of slow and they can interrupt it. For our last wave of enemies, here we have these enemies that are absolutely not foot soldiers. No way, no how. They do not wear purple ninja outfits. They are not gimmicked. Okay, I was supposed to jump there. These guys are pretty annoying. They have moves that are honestly pretty unfair when it comes to their hitboxes, especially their backflip. And they also have access to this really high jump where they do this kick on landing. And that move is awful to deal with because not only does it have a hitbox pretty much the entire way down, but I think they're also more or less completely invincible up and down. So it's something to keep in mind. One last wave of enemies for our boss, who looks quite out of place in this game, but I put this on Konami. Konami just kind of wanted these homages in like all of their games. They even did it later in TMNT 2 for the NES. Actually, I think that came out before this. So anyway, didn't want to get this guy in the corner, but it's just another hammer loop boss. We'll be okay. That guy who appears out of the door is honestly the biggest concern here. You can hammer loop that guy, he can't interrupt you, but once that ninja shows up, he can essentially do anything he wants to try to disrupt your run, and he's probably going to try, because he can throw shurikens, which are very disruptive. He can do that high jump kick that I was referring to. Not fun. Don't want it. All right,
just
so
one more
Deathless
thing to worry
going.
about.
Yeah. Deathless going into our last stage, which is just a short boss rush. Thankfully, we don't have to fight any other bosses again. We only have 2 bosses to fight, but this is all the stage. It's also the last stage where we don't actually get to use any sub-weapons, so we're just left to our wits and our buttons. So for Smithers, first thing I'm going to do is try and spawn some food items. There are 3 hidden food items at the very top of the screen. Got one of them already. There's a pretty specific pattern to Smithers you have to do in terms of execution. After the first 5 hits, I tend to throw a whiff to try to get him to bring out the cape, and then I go back and hit him again. For the third one, I do a jump bait instead, because that one he has access to insta-cape, and you don't want to get hit by that. That should have done it there too. It's after the 5th hit as well, so that's on me. From here, though, it should be pretty easy peasy. I should be able to just finish him off from here. Okay, he got away a little bit. That's unfortunate. I'll just let him do that. I gotta let him do his thing. Unfortunate. There we go. Not my best Smithers fight, but it works. I'm gonna take all of these healing items he drops. This is also a JP exclusive. So for our finale, also known as the last exit to Springfield, we were doing a protest. Here we have Mr. Burns. This strat's been known about for a while, and this actually came about because I believe Makina was the first person I ever saw do it, so I give all the credit to him. If you get Burns against the wall with specific positioning for yourself as it pertains to him, you can actually stun lock him in the corner and he can't get out. But I was having a lot of trouble with it in practice runs, and it turns out it was actually based on positioning of my character versus him. This is not good. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can set this back up. That might work. Okay, so as I was saying, the position that you have is pretty relative to what he needs to be doing. This is really, really bad. Don't like. I'm gonna see if I can get some health. Okay, that works. See if I can pull this off from here. Okay, so what I try to do is I try to get to the left of this blue line that indicates the rug and just keep him here. If this works, he shouldn't be able to get out of this, and I should just be able to take it through the end. Time will be coming up fairly soon. It happens when Maggie falls on Mr. Burns, so I'll let it know when that happens. Be prepared once you see him stop being red. Had to get back into that. Rhythm, 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 hit the buttons. That's a Deathless Expert 1cc.
And that's why LRock is the best in the business.
Time. I'm just curious to see what the final time on that was. Looks like it was a 20XX. Still a great run. I got the first sub 20 in this game last week, and it would have been cool to be able to beat that, but there were definitely some stages that were trolling me on time. Like stage 7, I think I whiffed something like 19 dives, and it just didn't make any sense to me. But still a good run. The Burns fight started a little awkward, but we managed to get back into rhythm and do what we needed to do. And yeah, that's Simpsons Arcade. Hope everyone enjoyed it. It's a classic. Anyone who is interested in checking it out as a speedrun, I have a tutorial on my YouTube page. Thanks again to darkalexandr for being on my couch and being my co-op partner in this game. And to, of course, everyone in the GDQ crew and everyone who donated for this run. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. And have a great rest of your marathon. Take care.
All right, what a fantastic run by LRock. Please, if you're not already, give him a hand at home. That was a wonderful showing. And speaking of, we do have a few more donations in in support of such a run. We've got $10 from Mandy Cat, who says, "What a great GDQ event it's been so far. Huge thanks to all the excellent runners and announcers for making the distance work and raising money for such an important cause." This donation is for LRock, so hyped for this Simpsons arcade game run. Thank you for that, Mandy Cat. Much appreciated. We have $100 sent in from Skillet, who says, "As an adult, there's nothing more satisfying than being able to have all the quarters I need to beat this game with friends at the arcade. Love this run. Power to MSF. Keep it hype, GDQ." And with that, I'm going to go ahead and send it away for some quick words from Twitch. All right, and welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2020 Online. I am, of course, Pythonicus, and next up we've got some Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, any percent, run by Chiron. But in a few hours' time, we do have a run of Blood by Psychosis, and there is currently an active donation incentive for Psychosis to be running the... Sorry, excuse me. To run the post-mortem expansion. So if you'd like to see that, we have about $739 raised out of a total of $5,000. So if you really want to see that, you got to get your donations in within the next couple of hours. I know I'd personally really like to see that, so let's make it happen, guys. All right, we have $100 actually sent in by Seriously Surly, the runner of Baldur's Gate, if you'll remember, who sends in $50 for a Deathless run and an additional $50 for the unbelievable luck on the run. Thanks again, GDQ, and good luck to the rest of the runners. And thank you, Surly, for such a fantastic showing. Great work out there.